So today we're going to be working on the Inmotion V14 Pro. Unfortunately, I had issues with my motor starting at about 120 miles, moving all the way up to 180 miles. You can hear it here in this video. So we're going to be changing out the motor today. Inmotion was really quick about this. From the time of contacting them to getting the motor was about 2 weeks. So I sent them what issues I was having with the videos and everything. I thought it was wheel bearings, and Inmotion took my logs and said there was something wrong with the motor. So they sent me out the motor for free. And so today we're going to change it. So to change the actual motor and to get the motor out is super simple, but I'm not too sure what all has to come off on this top side to get the 3-phase wires and this connector here. So as you can see, the wheel still runs, it just makes a clicking noise. So I just wanted to make sure the wheel turned on before we took it all apart, just so there was no issues before we got started. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the side panels. If you have Velcroed the back side of these, it's going to be super easy to remove. So you just need something flat to get behind this. I found this rotor, used rotor that I got from my e-bike. So I'm going to use that just to get up behind this. Just to get it started. All right, we got one side off. All right, and it just comes right off because we have Velcro on this side and Velcro on that side. Makes it super easy. And now we'll take off the other side and get to removing everything. Next, we're going to be removing this top panel. So there's a 4mm screw right here and a 4mm screw right here. And do remember there are tabs that go around here, as well as a pretty big tab on this side that needs to get removed. So I'll just show it from this angle. So this needs to get pushed in, otherwise it will break if you don't get that off. So just take your time and go slow. I like to use a little flathead screwdriver to push on that plastic piece that's protruding out. So you just lift up and push on it, and it pops out. So once that's out, these back ones will come out a little bit easier. There you go. And this is how it looks. So these are the pieces on the top that are connected. So there's one on the top here, one on the side. So those pull straight out. And then this is that clip that's protruding through that you have to push out. So also what we're doing here is exactly what you would have to do if you wanted to pull the tire off. We are now looking at the left side of the wheel. This is facing forward, so this is the left. So the only thing necessary that we need to do is to get this single battery off. And to do that, we're going to need to cut this zip tie here and disassemble this right here. So this is just going to turn and separate. So now that we have that off, there's 4 bolts. So there's 2 here and there are 2 on the bottom, but you need to remove this cover first. So there's a little battery protector. This is also 4mm. So we're gonna pull this off, which will expose the 4 holes for the battery. So this one is a little bit further in. It's about that far. So I just had to grab my 4mm Allen key, and we're going to use that to get this off. Now that we got the cover off, the 2 screws are now able to be taken off. So those 2 and the 2 right here on the top. All right, and just like that, we have the battery pack off. So to free up the motor cable, there's 1 tie strap. So 1 here, we're going to cut that off. Blocks that hold this in. So 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And these are 2.5mm. So we'll cut this off first. Be careful with the wire. And now this is free. We can go ahead and separate that. So the next thing we're going to be doing to get the wheel off, there is 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4 on either side of the shock. So there's 2 on one side, 2 on the other, and then on the other side as well there is. So if you have a ball style head Allen that you can put onto a drill, you can get these off. I don't. So what we're gonna have to do is go a little bit further, and there's 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4 under here that need to be removed to get this out of the way, and then I won't have any problems taking all of that off. Let's go ahead and get those off, and then once this is removed, I can get to the motor. And these are all gonna be 5mm Allens. All right, now that that is off, we're gonna go ahead and be able to get access to all of these bolts now that are in here. So I'm just gonna use a pair of vice grips to grab a hold of this and just turn it. And that should work. Sorry for the dog barking, it's my neighbor's dog. Nothing I can do about that. So just make sure it's straight. Okay, I got it. Okay, that was a little scary because I was like, if I can't get that, I can't complete this job. So we're gonna go ahead to the other side, do the exact same thing. So another workaround that would work really well if you didn't have a Allen like this and you only had tools that are like this, and you only had the bigger size tools, you didn't have the skinny versions. What you can do to make this easier is just remove all 4 batteries, and then you'll have complete access to the areas down here. The motor should now just lift right out. All right, and so if you wanted to do a tire change, this would be your final step. However, I need to get into the top and disconnect the phase wires and the other connector. So let's go ahead and get started on that. The next thing you're gonna do is remove this cover plate, and there's 10 screws. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then when you open this up, 2 in here is 1, 2. In here, there's 4 3mm Allens, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Once we get that removed, this plate will fall and give us access. Now that we have that disconnected, we're gonna go ahead and move this out of the way, which exposes our wires right over here. So you can see that's where the wires come in and get attached. So it does seem like we're getting a little hung up. So it looks like if I disconnect this white one and this red one, I can just set this up out of the way. So there is a little tab, just lift up on it. There's a little tab here, and not to worry where these go because one's red, one's white. So okay, now that that's out of the way, that was super simple. We have our area we're gonna be working with. So this is the connector, which is glued on, so it will not come off. Our phase wires are here, so yellow, green, blue, and I'm gonna have to pick off this glue here that is holding that connector on. So you will have to buy some sort of adhesive or silicone. All right, so I've dealt with this kind of stuff before. This glue is pretty easy to come off. You just gotta kind of pick at it. You can also use a small like flathead screwdriver as well. That'll work well, just be careful. So actually the best trick wasn't using the pick, but it was using this little flathead screwdriver. It's kind of hard, but yet it's kind of rubber. And that's what was holding that clip in. So now if we just pull on this clip, it should come out now. Okay, so now we have that clip undone. You want to make sure that if there's any leftover residual in here of this stuff, just to make sure it's clear so that when we put the new one on, it has a good connection. So next we're gonna take off the phase wires. So 1, 2, 3, and these are 4mm Allens that we're gonna remove. And now that we have those off, we can pull these out.
And we want to kind of straighten this out so it's going to go through that hole. So let's go ahead and see what that hole looks like. So you can see they put silicone all around the opening. So I'm going to try to see if I can just pull it through. And if not, I'm going to try to probably use the flathead screwdriver and get some of that off. So once you use the flathead screwdriver, you can kind of push all the rubber through. And then we're gonna pull the phase wires out, and then this connector last. They don't all fit one time. So we pulled all 3 phase wires out, so blue, green, and yellow, and the other connector is still in there. So you're gonna have to line it up so that it fits through this hole, but it will fit right there, just pushed right through. So perfect. So now oh my gosh. So move that to the side. And we got our wheel off. And there's the new one. Holy moly. Okay, so now we're gonna take the tire off, take the tube off, and transfer it to the new rim, and then slap it all back together. Whew. All right, so on this piece here, there is a rubber piece we're gonna have to take off, it looks like. Yeah, there's not one on the other one, so this is kind of like a rubber seal. So we're gonna pop that off and put it on the other one. This is that rubber seal that's gonna block the opening. We're gonna have to put silicone on it, but it's just gonna go right around this. So it does split in half. I kind of ruined it with the flathead screwdriver a little bit, but it should be good enough to create a seal. And it's just gonna go right there, right here on this section here. But that's gonna be one of the last things we're gonna be putting in to get this all back in. All right, well, now let's work on that, getting that apart. Yay, this is fun. It's coming off fairly easy, that's nice. So it goes face down like that. And then this should be able just to pull right off. All right. So we want to make sure this tire goes on the same way as well. They look completely identical. I can't see any difference. Okay. Okay, and there you go, and we got it on. I like to just spray a little Simple Green all inside the lip on both sides. This will help the tire seat and it won't cause any issues. So let's go up to 40 psi, let it set, and then we'll put the valve core back in. So now we're just going to be doing everything we did in reverse. So starting with the phase cables, so this cable is going to go in first, and then followed by the 3 phase cables. This rubber piece is gonna go over here, and then I have black silicone. I'm gonna end up just siliconing the bottom area and the top side. And then for the glue that was holding on this connector to the inside, I'm just gonna be using black silicone as well. That'll hold it on there. And then I'm just gonna allow this to set for 24 hours before I mess with anything. So we got the phase wires and this piece back through. Just take your time. This one definitely has to go first, and then I went longest to shortest, so blue, green, yellow, passing it through. Make sure when you're tightening down your phase wires, you use blue Loctite as well, and don't over tighten those. You don't want to break the connection point on the controller. So I just want to show you what I did. So I ran the cables exactly the same way. Yellow, green, blue. It also says on the controller. And what I ended up doing is getting that rubber piece in and then pulling the wires through. So I had to push the wires out just a little bit. These were all still in, but push it out just a little bit so it gets skinny. And then put the rubber piece in and then slowly pull the wire back towards me. and then I siliconed all of this area right here is siliconed, and I siliconed this connector right here, and then on the back side here, let me see if I can get a view of it, it's all siliconed as well. Now we're just gonna get this panel back on, connecting that white and red connector and the 4 screws that hold this panel on. I'm gonna put a little bit of blue Loctite on this just so this panel doesn't come loose. Now that we got all that put back together, now we can get the wheel back on. So I suggest sliding the wheel in with it laying down so that it's free spinning, and put Loctite on all 8 bolts, so 4 on this side, 4 on the other, and just make sure you get them all started before you tighten everything down. So now we have these connectors, so 1, 2, 3, and the zip tie. Make sure this is up and out of the way. So next we're gonna put the battery box back on. With using Loctite, we did the 2 top bolts at the top, 2 top bolts at the bottom, and then I put blue Loctite on the 2 bolts that hold this bumper on. And then also remember to zip tie these 2 pieces together. Now that we have the pedals on, we put on this top piece which clips in around the top and 2 screws. And now we're gonna put on the last part. Everything is back together. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, let it free spin, and hope that it doesn't have that sound anymore. Doesn't make that noise anymore. 61 mile an hour for free spin is crazy. Let the silicone dry for a few days. But yeah, so this took about, I am filming, but it took about 2.5 hours from start to finish. Wasn't a very difficult job, but there are certain things you gotta have. And yeah, so hopefully this helps you guys. I didn't see anything on how to do this. I mean, you could take the tire off, but I didn't see anything on how to do this full disassembly of all of this. So still waiting. Again, on my trolley handle, I'll have to take some of it back apart, but really happy with the simplicity of how that was, and can't wait to get back out there. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.